Your views, my facts, begins in 3, 2, 1. I am Thomas John. With me, Rich, Will, and Cody. If you had listened earlier to a previous podcast regarding Mayweather and McGregor, you will recognize these three. Today, we're going to be doing a sort of a shotgun approach, or as I'd like to call, a slide fire solutions approach. If you're not familiar with slide fire solutions, they make a wonderful stock for all your guns that allows you to bump fire, basically turn any semi-automatic rifle into an automatic rifle. So basically, I'm going to put the magazine right into the magazine well. I'm going to pull the fucking charging handle. I'm just going to unload, and we're going to see what happens, where we go. Is everybody okay with that?
Sounds good with me.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So
wait. We're in California, though. You can't bring that kind of fire here in California.
Well, you can't legally bring that type of firepower here in California.
True.
But I'm a law-abiding citizen, so I do not own any of these firearms. You know, all mine are 10-round magazines only.
Of course.
So, but anywho, all right. So the first topic that I want to bring up, do any of you guys watch America's Got Talent?
Not religiously, but I have watched. My grandfather's like huge on that shit, actually.
Okay, so you're familiar with the show. Rich and Cody?
I hate all reality TV.
Okay, yeah. Fair assessment. But have you seen it?
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay, and Rich, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, you got a fiance, so I know you got to be watching these fucking shows too.
Actually, you introduced me to it back when we were roommates.
Well, I'm glad that you still watch it.
That's where I get my dance moves, man.
Well, I don't know if that would be America's Got Talent. I think that would be like Dancing with the Stars or something. But either way, I'm glad that something of me is still within you. No homo. All right, so here I was watching America's Got Talent earlier today because I threw it on my DVR because my taste of shows that I like to watch is fucking just like eclectic, and a lot of things just get me. I mean, I'm also watching this other show called Claws, by the way. But anyways, that's a whole separate topic. We can get into that later. So America's Got Talent. Basically from the get-go, there was this, I don't know, 13 years old, 14-year-old girl. Now, her story from the very beginning was that her father has stage 4, I believe, colon cancer. Okay, now, I'm not on here to make fun of, obviously, any type of cancer, but that led into essentially a sympathy role. And where I really got upset then was they were doing these judge cuts, and she went on to sing a song. It's called I Try. Who sings it? Mary J. Blige. Like, I try to walk away and I stumble. I try to. Is that who sings that song?
I do know the song, but I cannot recollect.
All right, well, it's a stupid fucking song.
I know the girl's got some crazy hair.
Yeah. So here she was singing the song.
Oh, Macy Gray. It's Macy Gray.
Thank you, Macy Gray. Yeah, that bitch. So she sang this on these judge cuts, and went in, again with a little bit of a prologue and talking to the judges, saying, "Yep, just don't know, uncertain, don't know if my dad's gonna live another day." And look, again, I feel for the girl, but when she sang this song, it was fucking horrible. All right, it was off key. Now, maybe part of it was that she was choking up somewhere halfway in between there, but she made it through. Like, so she's going to the live show. So my question is, do you guys think that sympathy plays a role in a lot of these reality shows or talent shows, and should that be allowed? Because it pissed me off.
I'm sure that it does play a role in any type of reality show because everyone's human. That would only make sense. But should it? Absolutely not. It should be totally based off talent and your performance of whatever it is that you're doing.
Well, it's all about ratings. So it's like if you can put someone on there for people to want to watch the show and come back over and over again to see how this person's progressing. It's just like any of the other reality shows. That's why I can't stand them, is they'll manipulate it, through like media editing and stuff like that, so that people can like sympathize or in turn hate somebody on the show, and then that brings in people because like the emotional aspect of it. Because if you just had 10 people on there and they're from white bread lives and shit like that, like you wouldn't give a fuck about them and who won, at that point. You would want to feel like that person's like changing their lives and shit.
Yeah, but here's my issue though with I think we need to separate between maybe talent shows versus the reality shows, because I understand what you're talking about in regards to reality shows of splicing, doing some Michael Moore fucking magic, who's a fat piece of shit. I don't know if he's died off yet, but that of course they're going to do what they have to do to show the affairs, the sex scenes, all the other bullshit. Whereas I guess with AGT, that's what they call America's Got Talent, everybody. With AGT, the prize is that you're going to get a Las Vegas show and $1 million, which is an annuity over 40 years. But when you're watching these talents go on, even with the ratings and them trying to splice things together, I sit there and I say, this is 3 minutes. How are you even going to make this a show right on the Las Vegas Strip? How would you incorporate it in, right? Because we could talk about maybe any of the Cirque du Soleil shows. I got it, right? But then you're not the quote-unquote headliner. And, so that's what frustrates me about, making it for the ratings, if indeed that is the case. But I just wanted to try to draw a distinction between your, Bachelor or Bachelorette and an America's Got Talent.
I don't think there's any way to really do that, though, because no matter what, someone's going to try to find an angle to play, right? It's entertainment. That's what people are tuning into this stuff for. It's entertainment. I think the big thing is that most of these individuals that are not talented on most of these shows, excluding like Jersey Shore or like some of that reality TV, they're not going to make it to the final rounds regardless. They get into the live show and they're taking the place of somebody else that probably also would have been eliminated early on. So like, I watched The Voice, and when you get down to the final four of The Voice, like easily none of the other 12 that made it to the live rounds really matter. Like you know off the bat when you're in the live 12, like who's talented and who's not really there,
Right, yeah, but just the simple fact that they maybe would not have made it to the final round, this person still took another legitimate shot, all right? I mean, they could have actually, the act that got canceled for this, child that's going to, has her sympathy role, just stole that fucking spot. And it's annoying.
So you're saying maybe they missed out on someone. It could have possibly happened, something along the lines of that.
Yeah, part of that pisses me off is that they maybe missed out on somebody. But then I also go back to she just sucked again. Like I think that's a key point here that needs to be. So you guys maybe should look this up at some point. But she just sucked, and I mean they had some other act on there that had like the little dogs where they walk on their back legs and they fucking are doing all this weird little tricks. Now, I saw a video on social media once where they showed like the torturing that goes on to make the dogs do that.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
I'm sorry, I had you muted because you're sitting there eating some spinach and chicken, my friend.
Well, got to live healthy, but yeah, it's pretty fucked up what they do to the dogs.
Right. So this is where I'm making my run for candidacy for a judge on AGT right now. Because I will go on there because Simon Cowell clearly has lost his spark in being able to tell somebody what the fuck is going on. And so they need somebody that's in the public, right? So who better than myself, where I will sit there and say, what do you plan on doing, right, for an hour and a half long show with these fucking dogs?
Or at least 30 minutes. Like the shortest show in Vegas is at least 30 minutes.
Sure, yeah. But then followed up with that, once they even give me that answer, then I'm going to say, but I also saw on videos, right, of these Japanese doing these, the shit to these dogs, and it's torture, right? I mean, they're like beating these fucking dogs, and I don't think anybody in the audience would want them to go through that. So, how is this just a mystery to everybody? Is it a mystery just to the judges? Is it a mystery to the people actually in the in the stadium? Like they all cheer, and I don't get it. It drives me wild.
Trophy society. It's got to be trophy society. We want to make sure everybody feels like they did a decent job, whether they did or not.
But that's not how the world works. That's the problem with that.
I agree with you.
Okay, so what do we need to do to stop it?
We need to start telling people that they suck. To be honest with you, like if you don't do a good job, we need to tell you you're not doing a good job. If someone goes on stage and sings and their voice is atrocious, we should be like, hey, what's your normal job? You should probably keep that.
A la like Donald Trump telling his fucking attorney general, like, you fucking suck and I want you gone, or not like that?
Not in those words.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he didn't really use those words either.
Exactly.
But he did say, you suck.
He said, I wouldn't have picked you if you'd recused yourself, if I knew you were recusing yourself.
Right, but he was being honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what we all need to do. So we all need Twitter accounts, and that's how we're going to spread our message?
That's the new way to do it.
I fucking hate Twitter. I hate all social media. It's fucking bullshit.
Now,
I hate it so much.
Why?
It just is. It allows someone to be able to hide behind a screen or whatever, and they feel like they can say whatever they want. Like, not everyone should have a voice, to be honest.
Yeah, now, somebody might be saying that about you, though. Now you're behind a mic.
Yeah, but there's a
You asked me to
huge
be here.
false sense of security that's given with technology, especially with. I know, like when I grew up during it, it's the same thing too. There's a huge false sense of security behind your technology, whereas you really feel like you can say whatever you want.
I would agree with that. Is that a technological problem, or is that a parenting issue, though? Or both, right? I mean, it's not. I'm not saying that there's no middle ground here, but I mean, have we lost the ability to actually have good parenting?
Well, you could be a good parent, but if you tell your kid not to do something, or you're trying to like push them in another direction, it's really easy for them to be like, fuck that, and just go off and do their own thing.
I think social media applies pressure to kids that like parents couldn't ever understand to begin with. Like, I can tell my kids, and by the way, I don't have any kids, but if I had kids, I could tell them, hey, I don't want you to do this. This is how you should act. This is how you shouldn't act. But the outside pressure applied in middle school and high school from social media now, it's ridiculous. They have to have two you have to have two personalities. You have to have the face you put on for everybody else, and then obviously you have your face at home. And you just hope that like the two are somewhat similar and you've raised them properly, but you can't control what they do.
Is social media to blame for any deaths? And
Yeah, definitely. It opens up people to be bullied and really ridiculed, like a whole new avenue. Like, at least before, whenever I was growing up and you were growing up, if you wanted to bully someone or talk shit to someone, you had to do it to their face. But now you can just do it anonymously or what have you. That's why we have trolls and like all that other dumb shit.
Okay, I'm not sure if I phrased my question just right. I guess what I meant to say is social media to blame, though, because isn't it still the same thing? I mean, social media is just the conduit.
Correct.
Yeah. No. It's like a good comparison would be like alcohol. It gives someone the courage or the ability to think that they can do whatever or say whatever they want. Whenever normally, if they were posed with that threat right in front of them, they would never fucking say the shit or do the shit that they would do on social media. Just like if you were drunk, you do shit that you normally wouldn't do when you're sober. I mean, I know I've done a lot of stupid shit.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess I would say all four of us are men in the room, right? But I remember going back to high school, and I talked to a lot of my female friends, and it is different for them because, like, even without social media, one person says something, it spreads throughout. So you don't need social media, right? Like, theoretically, social media is an electronic version of gossip that goes on in the hallways, the bathrooms, etc., right? I don't think it's new. Like, that aspect as far as not telling somebody something to their face, like, that's not new. I think what it is now is a 24/7 item. So it used to be you went home after school, you didn't have to deal with the bullying, you didn't have to deal with all the drama, but really you're always going to log on to social media now today, and you're always on. You always have to deal with it. So if you're a young kid and you're getting bullied, it doesn't stop as soon as you open the door and you're back at home doing homework.
This is Thomas John from Your Views and My Facts. We hope that you have enjoyed the soundbite that you just heard. Please follow us on Twitter or Facebook @ViewsandFacts and leave us any comments that you may have.